All right, today on Off and On the Clock, we got the full crew back together. We are going to run down our favorite picks on the board. What are the best picks? We're each going to have one for the early rounds, the mid rounds, and the late rounds. We're also going to check in on some preseason adjustments we need to make. We have lots of new information to sift through, and then naturally, we will hop in a Best Ball Mania 5 draft. This is Off and On the Clock with John, Nez, and Pete. Let's do it. All right, Nez, we're back. I'm sure on this channel you've already talked about your travels, but we did see that you were still drafting despite traveling. So you still kept your fastball?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, these slow drafts don't stop for anybody, Pete. I constantly had like 30 drafts on the clock at any given time. So I was playing catch up there. Nez and OG Nez, I should say. OG Nez and my father and I were splitting some puppies. We got in a lobby together, and I was kind of running circles around him. I felt a little bad. He at like through round 8, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but he actually had a pretty good team. But I think he was a little intimidated, stepping in the room with the big dog. But no, we had a great time. It was great seeing my fam and my nieces. Always a good time. But I missed you. I missed you boys.
Yeah, it was not the same. What did we do, John? Did we do a big eliminator?
Oh, yeah, we did big one.
And we just completely botched it, and then we're scrambling the entire draft. So
sounds par for the course.
We did the wrong contest for Nez not to be here. We needed the triple condom, double hedge, 100 SPF sunblock Nez to make sure we got some of those floor picks in the eliminator.
It's true.
Peter, are you a sunblock guy, by the way? I mean, like, silly question, but you're out in the sun. Are you bringing sunscreen?
I hope this doesn't get me canceled. For pretty much the first time, and I can remember, I have not put on any sunscreen this summer. Not for any specific reason, but I have not. And I think it's because I've slowly my exposure. I didn't go just one day I'm out in the sun for I've kind of built it up now to where I don't get sunburned. And I'm never out in the sun for more than a couple hours. So yes,
if you got like a beach day though, you're putting on the sunscreen, right?
Not this year, I haven't, brother.
Oh, we had a whole
you're
discussion
the minority now, dude. You're the minority.
I mean, this is insane. You guys need to put on some sunscreen, man. It's good for you. You drive me insane, but no, man. It was a good time. Regardless, though, my niece just turned 6, and my dad, when he drives her in the car, he has a playlist for her. And it's not like she loves Kids Bop. She's been to multiple Kids Bop concerts. They have Kids Bop concerts now. And on the playlist though, he hits the next song, and then it's Soulja Boy Tell 'Em. I'm like, she doesn't know this song. And then all of a sudden in the backseat here, hop up at the bed, turn my swag on. Like how do you know turn my swag on? She knows every word. Just turn my swag on by Soulja Boy Tell 'Em. I mean, I that was the proudest uncle moment of my entire life.
But that's not even a new song, right? That. I mean, that's a deep cut by her standards.
It's unbelievable. I'm like, how do you know this? And also, Umbrella by Rihanna. That's also her jam as well. She knows the Jay-Z ad libs. It's insane.
Umbrella was 2008.
She's
I didn't
cultured,
know that.
Pete. I don't know what to tell you. She knows her stuff.
Incredible.
Yo, that comes straight from the parents though. Those are 2 of the parents' bangers, and then she just sings along kind of deal.
Yeah, my brother-in-law's a cool guy. He knows he's got good knowledge, so he's putting her on. He's keeping her up to date.
I had this conversation with the boys the other day. At what age do you just stop listening to new music and you just recycle all the shit that made you feel good in the past?
I'm kind of there right now.
Right? We're kind of getting to that era, are we not?
Yeah, it's not our fault though. It's just the way that the music industry has changed.
Fair enough.
All right, dudes. Let's hop into it first. Let's I say we do because I think it might feed into some of the conversation, maybe with the late round picks, how preseason stuff is kind of shaking things up. That's where I feel most of the impact is. So why don't we start with our favorite picks on the board right now? And let's maybe kind of frame how we're kind of defining this as far as, is it from value, the guys we can't stop clicking? How do you guys want to set that up?
I think as you go to the mid and late rounds, there are just objectively, in my opinion, like great picks on the board. They're currently undervalued and or on the way to rising like another round or two. At least I think that there are some pretty clear players to identify that fit that description. And then in the early rounds, like, it's hard to get more movement in those early rounds. So I think that is just more so like who you can't stop clicking. I know I have a pick for that isn't necessarily like anything new that's come up. It's just like a change in my draft philosophy for the early rounds personally.
Yep. What about you, John?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah, I like that. I have two in the middle rounds that I can think of, like that kind of go back to back. So I might double one, but yeah, I'm good with it. I like it.
All right, let's do it.
Right before we jump in, I got to give out shout out. 3 members joined up overnight. I got to give a shout out to Holden, Jaws, and James, and then our guy Joka took down from the Dog Bowl, took down the MLB slate last night. So that's back to back Deposit Kingdom baseball winners.
Nice.
Last night, and what was Miller time the night before? 3 or 5? It was one of the two.
That was Saturday night.
Saturday night, so it would have been 3 or 4K as well. So shout out to Joka, Miller time, and then all those members who joined up there. All right, let's do this.
All right, Nez, why don't you kick us off? Early rounds. Let's cut it off. What, 1 through 5? Rounds 1 through 5.
That works for me. Yeah, my guy, I cannot stop drafting. I don't know if he's best click on the board for this pick, but Tank Dell for me. I'm atoning for my sins. I was trying to find that word yesterday. I couldn't find it. I am atoning for my sins of taking Diggs like religiously over Tank and over DJ Moore. I've switched it up to where like I need more DJ Moore. I'm making up the DJ Moore gap in a big way. I want to be way over the field DJ Moore. And I need to be over the field Tank Dell, and I currently and I was not, and I'm getting there right now. I kind of am drafting guys that I just think are awesome, and I think Tank Dell is awesome. Like, why am I not drafting him more? Like last year I let him burn me. I was anti his size. Like, there's no way a guy this little can have success in the NFL. We've never seen it, and then he showed us that he can have success. He kicked ass, and this year, I was just like waving it, despite the fact that the offense is better. Stroud, I have full confidence in, and I'm drafting other players that are also highly efficient. Like Tank Dell fits the build of a guy that I should be drafting a lot of, and I wasn't. And I don't want to be left behind on like an awesome Tank Dell season. A lot of people that I trust are really in on Tank Dell. I still think Diggs is a great pick. I would take Diggs over Tank Dell on the season straight up in fantasy points, but I think Tank Dell is going to have some awesome weeks, and I can't just have light Tank Dell bags. Like that's just a loser move.
It's funny because I've basically had like phases with Diggs in Tank, like the big board hammering Tank, first part of BBM hammering Tank, and then I like kind of swung back around once he moved into the 3rd round. Not even like, oh, he's like so expensive now, but more like I feel like I got bored with it, and I was like, man, this Diggs value is pretty nice. Like,
you did it right.
The late 3rd. And now I'm actually kind of trying to do the thing where I'm like, no, I want Tank on some of these late teams that I'm doing, to where I've even taken Tank ahead of Diggs a couple times just because I'm like, these late window teams basically have no Tank for me. And I feel the same way. It's like Diggs probably has a higher like, points per game average than Tank, but the Tank spikes are going to be unbelievable this year. And if you get one of those or 2 of those during the playoffs, like, man, you're going to be salivating over
me
it.
Personally, I'm tanking Tank as early as like 28 right now.
Yeah, I can attest to that. You did it this morning.
Yeah. I got a sick little Tank Nico double, and push Stroud to 80. So that was a really fun team.
Is there any aren't you worried about him, like those doubles that exist where Stroud was at like 86, 90 and Tank was going in the 4th round, and we're kind of setting up the same narrative as Rashee Rice with Tank Dell?
I mean, I think it's fair to say yes. I'm not, because like the playoffs, the pods are just so random. The most lineups I'm ever facing, if I can ever get to the finals, is like 500 people or something like that. So no, I honestly am not like too concerned about people having better teams on paper when it comes to that.
Okay, respect it. Pete, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, so mine is interesting in that it is a player I'm now really starting to prioritize. It's front of my mind because I just did it over on the Swolecast too, where I took Kyron Williams at the 2-3 turn, and I really want to start packing a ton of Kyron bags here down the stretch. I think I was approaching it with a lot of caution early on, obviously before the draft. Then after the draft, I wanted to see like how things were shaking out. Then there was his health thing. It was like, is this opening the door up for like Corum a little more? And like now that the dust is fully settled and we're starting to see the running backs push up too, like I thought was going to be a guy who pushed up alongside Barkley up there with Jonathan Taylor and Gibbs. And his ADP has just kind of kept him anchored to that early third round. If you're in a really wide receiver heavy room, he'll still slide to, 3-3, 3-4. And so I've been just trying to take him there as much as I can. And the other thing I love about it is one, I just think you can get like 1-2 turn value. Like I think that's probably where he should be going based on his role and what they want to do with this offense. But the thing that's nice is when you're on the 1-2 side, like if you take a JT or a Gibbs there, you can get really shut out at wide receiver back in the 7th and 8th because it comes back around. But when you're on the early side of the board, you can always get 2 good wide receivers at the 6-7 turn. So like today I did with the Swolecast where I took I took Kyron, then I did the Lamar Andrews thing, but I still am able to come back and get Deontay Johnson and Keon Coleman. And so like, I love that you can take Kyron, you can still go get your elite tight end or your elite quarterback or both, get 2 wide receivers. So I think it just lines up really well to really start to hammer Kyron, because I was doing that with Achane a ton. And I still think you should be doing that. I think he's a great pick. But I think Kyron right now, his price is just kind of anchored to that ADP. And even at worst, he should probably be a mid-second round pick right now.
I echo everything you say because Kyron was mine as well.
He was yours? I'm sorry to steal your
No, you're good. He's my highest owned running back right now. I love everything structurally you can do from the left side of the board with him, as you alluded to there, and then feel really comfortable. And then it kind of goes in to my next 2 favorite clicks, because I could just spin this right into, you said Keon Coleman. This spins into me loving JSN as that mid-tier guy for me. And then I do JSN as kind of like the replacement on the left-hand side of the board, who's still there at like 77. And I feel like comfortable doing that. So yes, Kyron has been a big priority for me. And we're starting to see it already. I did 2 BBMs last night and I did 1 this morning. And the running backs are pushing up in a big, big way. There was a guy in our draft last night who did a 5 running back start, who was a red Badger, but just, whatever kind of deal. We saw Jonathan Taylor go in the first round in one of those. I saw Derrick Henry go in the second. Like that steam is coming. So the drafts in which I'm able to get Kyron at like the front end of the 3rd round, they just feel so good.
I've seen people taking Pacheco over Kyron. I've seen 2nd round Pacheco. I've seen Kyron early 3rd, Pacheco early 3rd over Kyron. So yeah, for some reason, I agree. Like the running back steam is coming, but it just like hasn't fully gotten there with Kyron.
The other one that I kind of like to not just say the exact same one as you is doing the same thing with Josh Jacobs 2 rounds later from the left-hand side of the board and using him as that kind of anchor as we get like less bullish news on Marshawn Lloyd. I think there's a non-zero chance he starts on the pup. They try and like do a little red shirt stash with him and stuff like that. We know AJ Dillon can't catch passes. You leave him on the field for three full downs there. And then just like the fact that, this guy led the league in rushing with a way worse situation 2 seasons ago. And now he goes to play in the best offense he's ever been in with red zone opportunity. I said something structurally that I've been doing. I liken it to what I did with Javonte Williams last year, where I can do kind of like a hero anchor RB start, but with a 5th round running back. And obviously it didn't work out with Javonte last year, but I'm kind of running back similar, but using Jacobs as that target this year.
You're preaching to the choir for me, man. I've been saying Jacobs is a great pick all season, and all I got was, FUD from not directed at me, but all the community got was FUD. What from other people doing shows saying, "Oh no, don't you know Marshawn Lloyd is a 50-50 split in that backfield? Like, aren't you worried?" Okay. I mean, I know he got injured, so there's some run good there, but like that was never happening. I'm sorry. Like it's just a different situation compared to the Aaron Jones situation, compared to Josh Jacobs. Just way different histories as far as workload. So I'm loading up on Jacobs as well.
Yeah, I think that could be its own subset of, like guys who are values where there has been an injury and the guy hasn't moved up. Like I've been able to I've been trying to get more Ridley post the Hopkins stuff because that was a huge part of the thesis of being out on Ridley for me. And I thought the market was going to make me pay. Like I was joking, I was like, he's going to be a mid 4th round pick, like for sure. People love Ridley. Now you remove Hopkins from the early season equation potentially, and like his price didn't budge. And I was like, man, this is a really nice time to start scooping him. Like late 6, Jacobs didn't really budge at all post Marshawn Lloyd. Kamara hasn't really budged after the Kendre stuff. Like there's some of these guys where like their outlook has gotten like better via like meaningful news, and they haven't budged, which has been for the people, the faders, myself, like getting a second crack at it at no premium has been pretty nice.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of fluidity in ADP from like rounds 15 down kind of thing. Like that's where all this crazy movement's happening. Like we're already seeing like Sam Darnold up at like QB 24 and stuff like that. And that stuff's happening in the blink of an eye, but the stuff at the front end of draft boards is not. It's way stickier.
And I think that kind of leads into the middle round stuff for best picks, which like my next one would be like DeAndre Hopkins, pick 90 on the board. Might be ready week 1 and nobody cares. We were getting ready to take this guy over Calvin Ridley like 3 weeks ago, and now he's sitting behind Curtis Samuel with turf toe. I mean, I know ADP is fake at the moment in that regard, but like I thought like you can still get DeAndre Hopkins at like pick 90. Like him and Jalen Warren right now, like where they go are just like gifts at this point, absolute gifts. And I don't know how long that's going to stay at that late value for Hopkins and Warren. But right now it's just like amazing that they're down here and we can take them in round 8. There's such a lag there. It's kind of confusing. And I said this to John, like in our private messages, like this right now, I think by far, and maybe it's only going to get better. This point in time right now, like if I could finish my BBM entries in max, like today I would. Like, I think this is just such a pristine draft landscape at the moment right now. But at any rate, yeah, Hopkins, my selection for best pick in the middle round.
Well, and again, going back to those structural things, he now basically opens up, if you are bullish on him, he opens up that extra detour, right? Because before it's like, man, I'm going to get shut out of these wide receivers. But if you feel comfortable with him as your like wide receiver 4, even wide receiver 5, obviously, now you can be like, all right, I'll scoop another running back here. I'll grab my elite quarterback or tight end and not feel like before. I think you could get punished in that range, but then like the Addison slide, the Hopkins slide basically made it a little less scary.
Yeah, I mean, it's great when it opens up. Like he has week to week ceiling, I think. I mean, Will Levis will tell. That's obviously like a huge question mark there, but the projected volume at that range is just like unmatched for DeAndre Hopkins. You can confidently say he's got 100 targets like minimum coming his way if he stays healthy. It's really hard to say that for anybody else behind him, except one other guy who I like. But
I will stick in Tennessee for my favorite mid-round pick, and right now it's Tony Pollard. I feel like a lot of the hesitation again early on with Tony Pollard like didn't look good last year. A lot of early Tajay Spears stuff, but now again, like the dust has settled. The team has been so uber consistent on how they want to use these guys in both the run game and the passing game. Their preseason usage has directly backed that up. Like these guys are going to be used interchangeably. And then best of all, like to put my like film hat bro on, like Tony Pollard looks good. He looks explosive. He does not look like the guy who was sluggish coming off of injury last year. And so when I look at kind of that like mass of 0 RB targets that you can start from whenever, I know Zamir White's sliding now, but like whatever, from there all the way to like after Devin Singletary goes, like to me, he's one of the better picks of that entire range. And you can get him in the back half of that range, like pick 100, all those other guys are going 10, 15 picks ahead of him. So I haven't been like reaching like crazy to get him. I have been like buying the dip on Jalen Warren, 10, 15 picks. But like after that, man, I'm slamming Tony Pollard right now.
I love me some Tony Redacted. So you don't have to sell me on that one, Pete. I like it. I mean, I think the bull case for Tony is also the structural stuff too, because I think we're pretty heavy piss boys like early on, and just like we're accustomed to getting shittier profiles that late with your RB1 and or 2, and just the fact that you can get a guy who was, just like put our dunce cap on for a second. He was a first round pick last year. Obviously, so much has changed, but like we can get a guy who was a first round pick last year in round 5 or 6. Like
it's insane to me where he goes. He goes behind Zamir White. He goes behind Jonathan Brooks. He goes behind Chase Brown. It really is like very shocking to me. He's one of the cheapest, one of the cheapest RB1s on the board. Like him, Brian Robinson, and Javonte Williams, all like their respective RB1s by
and
ADP.
Devin Singletary in that
all
area
in that
too.
clump there. Like that is like such a good range to pick. If you are 0 RB and you're desperate for just points, like you're going to get your ceiling, you're going to get your Corums and your Bensons, Wrights, etc. That range is such a godsend. Like I'm going to be very surprised if that range doesn't beat ADP just off of season long value alone. Like it just seems like that's a range to be hammering right now. If you just want projectable volume, there it is.
Yep. That was one of the like early ADP calls I was just so wrong on. Like when Pollard signed there, and people had pushed up Tajay Spears, and I was like, oh, I bet I end up with a shit ton of Tajay Spears because he'll fall to where he has gone. Like that, what I was right. I was like, yeah, it'll be like 115, 120.
Yeah.
But I was like, I thought the inverse was going to be Pollard was going to be with Joe Mixon and Rachaad White. I was like dead set on like, no, that's where his ADP will be. Like people will be willing to buy back on him a year removed. And then it never happened. And it was like, holy shit. This is nice. And it did take me a little bit to wrap my head around it, because I still wasn't like, but man, I really like Tajay Spears. But yeah, I have been swinging around very hard on Pollard right now.
That's a good call.
I teased my next one quite a bit already. Give me JSN. I mean, second year breakout narrative, age 22. Missed the early parts of camp last year with the broken wrist, led to a slow start. Still managed to have like only 17 less catches than Tyler Lockett last year. Despite that, yeah, the ADOT was really low, but different coaching staff. Let's bring in Ryan Grubb with the vertical stuff. Let him do exactly what Jalen McMillan did at UW for the last 2 years. It just feels so good. I mean, first wide receiver off the board in last year's draft class. Why not get excited about him going in the 77 through 85 range with an offense that's going to be way more vertical this year? And then one thing that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, like everybody cites the age cliff with like Tony Pollard cites the age cliff with Tyler Lockett there. The other thing is they have a huge opt-out next year in his contract. So like he's set to earn $10 million next year. This year, I think it's like 3.5 or like 4. They have a team out next year for his age 33 season at $10 million. Like I don't see any way in which they don't take that, even if he has like an 804 touchdown season this year. So I think this next regime is going to be like, yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba's our guy, and they're talking him up in a big way. So I'm about it.
You definitely got me on him, John. Like I was like, he was like invisible to me for the longest time. I think the second year jump is pretty evident with him, just because his rookie season was like disappointing. Like we are just not counting the potential for a second year breakout at all. It's just not being factored in. If it was, he would be probably going like next to Roma Dunze, but he burnt us last year. And so there is like a round and a half discount on him. So I've been making up for that lack of JSN that I had in early drafts, thanks to your points. And I like Geno Smith too. I'm willing to kind of forget about last year and stick to my priors of always thinking Geno Smith was a pretty good quarterback and kind of liking this offense.
Yeah, I love JSN. I think like right in drafts, like I remember Big Board. I don't think I touched him. I was just like, I'm not doing this again. He was my most drafted player. And then I opened up with Best Ball Mania, and Sean had me drafting him right away, like off the rip with just no hesitation. And I came around pretty quickly. And the other thing that's true is like you think about the things that lead to like the second year breakouts. And I don't know if there's a player who's had more like change outside of like the quarterback that's still consistent, but this offensive coaching staff, like when you read about how people are talking about Grubb and McDonald and boots on the ground, John can probably speak to this too. Like they are raving about them. I think Brett Coleman had an interesting post where they said like this guy was the key hire on the offseason. Like everyone wanted them. Everyone was after him, and Seattle got him. He's transforming the offense. I think a lot of the boomer ball stuff is gone. And then on top of it, like JSN's injury was like a legit thing last year for hampering him. I think it kind of, pigeonholed him in how they wanted to use him early on. They're like, oh, let's not put too much on his plate. We'll just get him some touches near the line of scrimmage when the dude clearly has a downfield threat. So I just think so much is different this year. Tyler Lockett was very inefficient down the stretch. As long as like the wheels don't come off for Geno, right? Like I think the breakout's here.
And even if the wheels do happen to come off for Geno, like Sam Howell's a better contingent bet for fun fantasy upside than Drew Lock is or was last year, in my opinion. So like I'm kind of like okay with that. The other there's a couple other things. They got rid of all the dusty tight ends on the roster. Like they have no tight ends after Noah Fant. And they like last year with Shane Waldron, they ran so many 2 tight end sets. Like Gerald Everett was out there all the time. Will Dissly was out there all the time. Like it was like this weird rotation. Like they're going to have way more 3 wide receiver sets. So instantly, like the amount of routes he's going to run is just going to be up from the jump there just because they don't have like the personnel. Like their second tight end on the roster is Pharaoh Brown. Like these guys aren't going to see snaps.
Yeah, Gerald Everett was a Charger last year, but
it was Colby Parkinson.
Yeah, it's still Waldron's boy, and if we want to move to the later rounds, this is the picks that I'm really excited about, and my pick is Khalil Herbert. I'm windmilling, slam dunking Khalil Herbert like 20 picks ahead of ADP right now. When I need a running back that just on any build where those wide receivers are in that range, like I'm kind of done with it unless like because I'm right now I'm going pretty wide receiver heavy at like in the first 8 rounds. I was really loving my running backs. I still do, but Herbert I just think is such a smash. I still like I had to kind of have a heart to heart with myself because I loved him last year and I was overrating the Bears situation. That is totally fair, but like I thought this guy was a good football player. So like, I still think he's a good football player. DeAndre Swift is a problem, but DeAndre Swift is not a workhorse. Never has been, will not be. And the situation for Khalil Herbert, like I talked about on Pete's video, how the Bears are my favorite stack. And Khalil Herbert wasn't on my radar as much as he should have been at that time. Khalil Herbert is a very good runner, but I'll go out on a limb and say he's a better runner than DeAndre Swift as a ball carrier. DeAndre Swift better in the passing game. This is such a great situation for Herbert with elite contingency upside because I think the Bears are just going to roll on teams. Khalil Herbert being attached to that offense, like we want players on good offenses, and we are getting a discount on the Bears because Caleb Williams is a rookie. If he's just absolutely him and this offense is cooking, we are getting discounts on these Bears. He's one of the biggest discounts, and like Khalil Herbert quickly became like my second highest drafted running back behind Bijan.
Really? Nice. Even he jumped Algier.
He did. I slowed down on the Algier stuff. I was like, maybe this is too con to me. I was missing out on like other really good picks. I thought where Algier was going. I didn't have enough Jalen Wright. I started doing more Jalen Wright around there instead of just like hedging the Bijan bet. I've got good Algier bags. They're fine where they're at. I need new flavor.
Are you is there any, because for a while I feel like a lot of people who were in on Herbert were almost like hoping he would get cut and sign with like the Chargers, the Bengals, or the Cowboys. You're just in on him staying on the Bears.
As a Bear. Yeah, that I mean he has outs, but like getting cut is not good. I mean, personally, like I want him in that situation. Personally.
Yeah. You're not scared of Roschon at all?
I think Roschon is bad.
Okay.
I think Roschon's pretty bad.
Yep.
Yeah. I think the path for Herbert is getting that early down work. Like if he could lock down the goal line job in that offense, I think you'll be very happy. I have a hard time envisioning him becoming a bell cow just because of Swift's previous pass game stuff and Roschon having those chops. But yeah, I think he could be the goal line back in a very good offense.
If there is a player that you want to usurp from goal line usage, it's probably the running back who was the most inefficient goal line rusher in football last year, like inside the 10, right? Like he had all the things were working for him. He had Jalen Hurts with the zone read stuff. He had one of the best offensive lines in football, and he had a high powered ball moving offense, and he still couldn't score touchdowns last year. So I think that's a pretty good formula for a running back behind him to take away his touchdown equity.
Yep. All right, John, is it me or you here?
I got a couple here. I got two right now. I've been doing a lot more 3 tight end builds recently, and it's because of the price tags in which I've been getting on some of those back end guys who I think would be up further if injury news and whatever, if ADP had fully caught up. So I've been doing a lot of Juwan Johnson. That team, like, I'm not overly bullish on the Saints in a vacuum, but like A.T. Perry, Cedric Wilson, Equinemius St. Brown, like those are their third target options. Sure, Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill are on the roster, but give me the kind of like big-bodied red zone target that we saw at the tail end of last year, who looks like he's trending in the right direction to be ready for week 1 there, just as like a third tight end bet. And then the other one I've been pushing up that I'm ready to get burnt again is Tank Bigsby. For all the same reasons Nez kind of said, with contingent upside, with a team that we think is going to score a lot of touchdowns, for a team that a lot of people are bullish on. I don't know. Everything is just coming up good with him, and I don't love anyone kind of really behind him on the depth chart there. So I've been taking a lot of Tank Bigsby and Juwan Johnson with those last picks.
Yeah, and the thing, it's funny, right? Juwan, like, completely off, what was it, the pup list he came off of yesterday? So, and we're just too far into drafting season for that ADP to correct, right? Like, if we had another couple months to draft, he would slowly move up. He'd probably then be back around like the Noah Fant, Tyler Conklin range, but he's probably just not going to get there because the ADP is too solidified at this point.
Yeah, and people don't like the Saints either.
Yeah. I mean, Derek Carr has like had a terrible history of red zone efficiency until the tail end of last year. So, I mean, maybe rightfully so, but like the price is so palatable, and he feels like so safe to add to some of those crazy tight end builds in which I was doing with like TJ Hawkinson, Isaiah Likely as my second tight end. Like, he just feels like the con to me, like 505 at the tail end there. That's like, he's going to have like 4 usable weeks for me.
Yep. All right, I will do so mine right now, and I've been clicking him, and it has to be like at least every other draft right now, and that's Jordan Mason. And I know we've talked about him a decent amount, but like, he's the exact kind of guy I want to push really, really hard to get my exposure up on. Obviously, the biggest selling point, well, there's a few, but I think ETR right now has him at, a 20% projected ownership. Maybe that gets up to 30%, by lock or whatever, but still far, far less than those other premium handcuffs. When you look at what even Braylon Allen is going to be, finished close to 80%. You obviously look at Algier, 100% drafted. Outside of like the murky, I guess the Jonathan Taylor hasn't had really a clean one, so that one's going undrafted. But of all those like top backs, like, we now have what appears to be a very clean handcuff. It doesn't even really matter what his price gets up to because the opportunity cost is so low and his ADP has risen. And then I just kind of want to embrace this chaos of like, the best player in football who goes 101 is missing all this time right now. Doesn't mean he's not going to be fine. Like, I'm not saying that, but it just seems like a situation ripe to take advantage of if there's re-aggravation, if there's anything. And the team keeps telling us over and over, we really like Jordan Mason. He does have like some pass catching chops too. And that I think he could be, give you 60%, 70% of the workload that CMC got. I'm not saying production, but like workload. And if you get that at these prices, I think it's a really exciting piece to have that early drafters didn't have access to.
Yep. I got called fake sharp 3 weeks ago for tweeting out my 18th round Jordan Mason. So I love that the market is catching up now. I love this because I love that pick so much. A bunch of people on the Twitter, a bunch of people call me fake sharp, wasted roster spot and shit like this. That backfield, probably the highest projected total points, and a lot of that stems from CMC. I get that, but just like the fact that we take 3 running backs, where we take 2 running backs from like the Lions, who will be like the second most projected. Sometimes we take 3 from the Chiefs, and we take 3 from Miami all the time. And yet with the 49ers, we take 1.5 some of the time. You know what I mean? So just like, I don't really care what side of the podium people are on, or like of the pendulum, whether it's Eli Mitchell or Mason like early in the season, that the fact that we were only taking one running back from that backfield was a mistake, right? And then you add on the calf injury, you add on all this bullish coach speak for Jordan Mason as a player. And then we saw Jordan Mason ball out in a couple instances last year. So, I mean, why not? Yeah, I like that shout a lot.
It's a good pick, man. Very good pick. It's the drafted percentage for me that's like the big kicker on that. Like, I don't think Elijah Mitchell has a stranglehold on that backup role. I think, and you're not saying that he won't if in the event that McCaffrey misses time. I don't think you're saying Elijah Mitchell's like not in the picture, but he definitely does not have a stranglehold now. And I think that Mason is like the better bet at this point in time based on what we've heard and what we've seen. And I mean, not that you're drafting him for the standalone role, but maybe this is more of a bearish case for like CMC 101, which like I would hate to make because that's never backfired. But like, what's the snap share going to look like for CMC early on, coming off a calf strain in the early parts of the season, knowing that they have missed out on a Super Bowl twice by like fractions of points? I mean, it's not inconceivable that Mason has a bit of a standalone role that's like giving you more of a floor than you expected.
They've also been vocal about it. They've said that they've wanted to take some of his workload away. Like those words have actually come out of Shanny's mouth, where it's like we got to be mindful of how we use Christian McCaffrey. So.
Yeah, and it's like even the nice thing you have, it's like you have more room for error, right? Like even if it was a 50-50 coin flip that it was Jordan Mason, the RB2, or Eli Mitchell, well, one of them is going to be close to 100% and the other is going to cap out at like 25 or 30. So you don't have to be right at the same clip that you have to do, for if you're with Eli Mitchell. So yeah, I think it's just one of those spots. Like I've really tried to be better this year. Like last year I was stuck in autopilot mode, despite like covering the news, reading all of this stuff. I'm just like, I'm drafting the same teams, the same players, and really forcing myself to get these guys that we have new information on that are not only better bets, probably. I mean, you can debate it, better bets, but then the ownership stuff you can't debate. Like they're not going to be drafted in as many of these. So yeah, I think right now I'd say like 75%, like 3 of my last 4 picks are almost exclusively sub, 50% ownership guys at this point. Every time when I go in a draft, that's like my main thing on my mind.
I like that, man. I think that's pretty sharp too. I mean, it's also a new tool that we hadn't had access to in the past. So why not use it to leverage it to our advantage, this ownership stuff, right?
And I think Shipley would have been a close second for me too. His ownership's going to be a little higher, 40%, but man, like the camp reviews there are great. And the only reason he hasn't gone up higher, I think, is because people are like, okay, even if Barkley did go down, are the Eagles going to throw to the running back a ton? Are you going to get goal line carries? Like, but I just think that's maybe just being like too specific of like, give me the contingent back in the Eagles high powered offense. Like I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out later. I don't care how he gets there. I think he'll get there.
Yeah. I think a little bit of FUD after preseason game 2 where Gainwell worked over him kind of thing too. Like that didn't help his case for like just not help his case, but like just like the FUD around him kind of layered on a little bit more. It's like, oh, look, they still use Gainwell kind of thing. For those people still on slow clocks in weekly winners, I think Jordan Mason's a beautiful pick right now. As just like you want some contingent leverage that nobody else will have access to, just mix him in the 16th round. Who cares? Like just, yeah.
I haven't been like structuring. I think I told you this last time. Like my teams, I'm just always done with running back. So I'm more like I'm the guy doing like the Jalen Nailers and weekly winner slow drafts type stuff right now.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like if you have those 0 RB builds or you need that running back, it's an awesome pick.
Shall we?
All right, guys. Did we got everybody's right? I want to make sure we're not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm covered.
All right. Little BBM action here.
Let's do it.
Ned is on the 1s and 2s today.
Woo, let's go. I was worried about getting locationed there and rug pulling everybody. Let me get a couple zooms here. Let me fix the window.
I never worry about that, Nez, because I'm a man of the company here where I want to fill 3 lobbies with every draft.
Yeah, that's the psyop, right? That's like the big little secret nobody talks about is you do that to give a bump to the fill rates. And Lord knows BBM does not need any more bumps to its fill rate.
Man.
I mean, I just realized that like, oh yeah, I need to do like 5 drafts a day. Like I need to stop. because I do not want to multi-table my BBMs. I can do it in puppies. Like I'm kind of a nasty pro at drafting like 5 puppies at once and like not drafting dead teams. Cannot do that with BBM. I care way too much about it this year. I mean, yeah, 1.5 million is nice, but John, the brand bump, if we take this down.
Oh, you've gone full Davis Maddock with
this.
Well,
it's more. So it's like 49% our brand, 51% like stopping Davis Maddock from winning, because we just simply the streets cannot have it. It would be unbelievable.
Oh man,
it's true. Yeah, I'm the same way. I haven't multi-tabled once this year intentionally. I had like a couple times with the Soulcast where he entered a draft.
And you do it on stream, so that's even tougher.
Yeah, it's not that part. Like, honestly, like even the times I've done too, I love being like in a room. Like that's like the funnest thing for me. It's why I'm not a huge phone drafter. Like I will do it by necessity, go out for a walk, whatever, like doing the cardio clubs. But I don't know. I like being at my desktop, one draft up, looking at the board, talking about it if it's on stream. Like, I don't know. I just like being dialed into a draft.
Yeah, you're old school live pro, Pete. You're old school live pro. Just focus on
do the soul reads here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nez.
Shall I?
Do it.
Justin Jefferson.
Any qualms?
Justin Jefferson.
Wait, where I just
Justin Jefferson in
your ranks.
Yeah.
You have Justin Jefferson buried. I didn't even see
Justin Jefferson. Don't make us take Bijan in a piss boy.
You really want Jefferson?
Yes.
I don't care. I just thought it was funny because I assumed Jefferson was gone, and then I saw it was buried in your ranks. We can set up the Sam Darnold, Jalen Naylor double. Just put him in the queue.
Yeah. I would love. That's a fun way to lose. I can't believe you guys just maybe take Justin Jefferson pick 6. You're allowed to adjust your priors when things change, guys. You're allowed.
When the best receiver in football still has a bullish scenario.
What a
Tyreek Hill?
Did you guys see that tweet going viral? I guess viral in our neck of the woods. The Atlanta beat reporter who projected 500 carries, 30 carries a game, and it was like, I was like, this guy got himself so much trouble. Like, it's like, dude, just say you're projecting a 60-40 split. Like that's all to get your point across. Like then you put the numbers in and we're like, you're all full of shit, man. They're not going to run the ball 500 times this year.
14 touches a game for Tyler Algier. I love it, man. Bring the FUD on. I
30
want it.
Carries a game with Zach Robinson and Kirk Cousins in tow.
Unbelievable. And then people like that's all they hear is like, oh, 50-50 split. Like, okay. And then like, oh wait, like I wonder what the receiving projections are. Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's just FUD Bijan. There's nothing to worry about there. I love it. Thank you, Scott Barrett, for doing the Lord's work there by signal boosting that. That was great.
Yeah, that's the perfect tweet of like if you just take it on face value and you just like freak out and then you do the math and you're like, this guy like doesn't even know how many carries can happen in a game. Like it's not even possible.
All right, guys, what do you think here? We've got the Dolphins staring at us with Jefferson. They share bye weeks. Neighbors is fun. Cup is fun. Kyron's fun. Give me a name. Neighbors
or Kyron?
Yeah, Neighbors or Kyron. Let's do Kyron and then just take whichever wide receiver we like coming back.
I'm good with that. Let's get this Kyron bump started, shall we?
Yeah, and it's just like we know Kyron and Achane won't be there. Yeah, we'll probably miss out on the super fun tier of wide receiver, but we'll still like it. We can do the tank thing that Nez was talking about. Like we'll have options there.
Yeah, I mean, we were projecting a piss boy room, but I think we've got I think you get ready to learn redrafters, buddy. I mean, look at all this green. This is looking like this looks like what ship chasing drafts looked like in 2021. We're like, whoa, look at all these wide receivers.
Is this the funny like leveling game, right? Where it's like all the badge bros are like, okay, the normies are here. You know, you can get your running backs earlier because the wide receivers will be there. But then you're in a room with all badge bros, but we're all still in this mind. And then we're all looking around. We're like, wait, we should be taking wide receivers right now. What the fuck? I thought these are normies.
That's literally what happened in this one last night. Like you see all the green littered through those first 2 rounds, like 6 running backs on the right-hand side of the board in rounds 1 and 2 is like so abnormal, right? So I kind of just got hung out to dry because I went full piss boy on it. But I think this is what we're going to have to start combating is quarterbacks being pushed and the green being pushed, because there are so many instances where I'm looking at boards now and I'm like, where the hell did the quarterbacks go? Or where did these running backs that I'm accustomed to having in the 4th and 5th round go?
I had like 1 to 2 drafts where I was doing my, push quarterback thing. This is probably 2 weeks ago. And now I've just like completely snapped out of it. It's like I'm locking up my stacks. I'll take my like Kirk Cousins or Stafford's around ahead of ADP if I don't have a quarterback and I need to make sure I complete that stack. Like I'm just not fucking around with stacks anymore.
DK.
Absolutely not. What do you think, Metcalf?
Yeah, that's
I'm good with Metcalf or Dell.
Okay. We'll go DK. John gave a pretty quick DK there, and I need more. I need more Metcalf. I don't have enough for the offensive situation being as improved as we just talked about, and Metcalf being just a grown ass man. I mean, 140 targets in his history there. I need some more Metcalf.
We're in a sweet spot. I mean, not sweet. Like this is kind of where JSN has been going now. But we could potentially set up the Metcalf JSN Geno double at this spot.
Very affordable.
I mean, like, if I just go IQ meme on this, give me the dude who's a grown ass man, who's huge, who's playing the vertical roam role in the Ryan Grubbs offense, then the rotational 590-pound slot receiver who got shot in the offseason. Like, I just give me DK. Like he's nasty.
I forget who they had their scrimmage with recently. Like it was another team, and it was just like Metcalf and JSN. I think it might have been the Titans. They're just destroying their defense right now.
I'm excited. They have a nice playoff schedule too. I think they go Green Bay, Minnesota, and then the Bears. Though the Bears defenses could be formidable. We'll see if that holds true. But that's a very fun playoff schedule. Definitely top 5 for me on that.
I want to hit 2 things in the chat that people are talking about. They're having the Eli versus Mason debate over and over again, that sort of thing. Like Eli hasn't ran yet. Like Eli hasn't done like anything. Like he's just doing like side workouts by himself kind of thing. Like he's still hurt too. So I know there was a little tweak with Jordan Mason this week, but like that's kind of like bullish in my opinion.
And it's like it's very similar to like the CEH stuff, although it's not even a good analogy because there's not a clear second behind CEH in the way there is with Jordan Mason after Eli Mitchell, where it's like we have now seen what happens with like the overconfidence with the RB2 spot. The guy's been drafted 100% of the time. Like I don't know how you can keep clicking Eli Mitchell right now until we get like really solid confirmation that he's the 2. The ownership just makes it. It's again, go play DFS. You have 2 3K punt wide receivers, and one of them 100% owned, and the other's 20%. Even if they're both unlikely to hit, which one are you playing? Like you can't click the 100% 3K wide receiver. That's what Eli Mitchell is right now, 100% 3K punt wide receiver.
I think we just do it. We just take the Pacheco fall. You rarely see him fall this far.
I'm down. I've been taking him a little bit more early 4th to get some shares.
I am the bye week bro in me is definitely like squirming a little bit. Yeah, we'll have to just be cognizant of it. But
I'm fine with ETN too if you want to do the running back thing.
We'll go Pacheco.
Let's punt week 6. I mean, like from a combo standpoint.
Yeah.
From a combo standpoint, like JSN falling to the middle of the board wasn't something that happened early, and then Pacheco falling all the way back to JSN to like that 103, 104 front board was like super rare even early. So like from a combo standpoint, like the JSN DK Pacheco feels pretty nice.
Yeah. And like we said, like when I guess it's a little more dicey, like what we can get mid 7th here. As far as, what happens to the wide receivers, but I think we're going to be fine. This isn't a team where we're likely doing an elite quarterback. It doesn't seem like it's going to really line up. We don't have any stacks. So then I think the big question is if we do a tight end with one of these next 2 picks or not. That's kind of, I think, the only other non. Yeah.
I think the only way I would do it in my mind, like typically when I'm like drafting on my own right now, I would only do it if McBride came back and I could set up Kyler at that 70, 75 or whatever it is in the middle of the board. there because he kind of goes there sometimes. That's the only way I'd run like an elite in quotations quarterback tight end stack now.
I had a pretty strong fade on Kincaid early this season. I think I'm at like 3% Kincaid just because it was like impossible to stack him with Josh Allen, or at least in a way that didn't feel gross was really hard for me. So, but I'm like changing my tune on that as we kind of see the Curtis Samuel injury news. Not that MVS is going to take a shit ton of targets, but like MVS starting on IR potentially, like Keon Coleman being a rookie who is still a fun, good pick, especially being discounted for being like a high draft capital rookie playing with Josh Allen. We're kind of like a little too scared on that. I think if that was anybody else, we would be giving more draft capital to him. Just kind of coming around on Kincaid being the leader in targets for the Bills. I don't know what you guys think, but I got him for like 120 targets right now on the season. You think that's too high?
I am not in the projection street, so I'm not gonna. You're not 32 or an Atlanta Falcons beat reporter, so I won't check your math here.
That's fine.
Do Rome.
Yeah, these are my ranks, but you want to do the Rome jump?
I'm down. Whatever you want. You guys like Kincaid?
I would do Kincaid or Ridley.
I think Kincaid. I kind of like what you were saying, Pete, about doing a slight detour here for elite tight end, just because we can get good wide receivers after this and set up a stack potentially as well.
Yeah, because if we can, maybe it feels gross mid-7th depending on what's there, but I think we'll be fine.
I think so. I'm just like coming around to like usually Kincaid isn't, I guess by ADP, it does make sense for him to be the 5th or the 4th off the board, but yeah, just like being way more open to Kincaid being a great pick as the Bills offseason moves forward, and I kind of get a look at this offense. A hot start for Kincaid, I think, is definitely in the picture with Samuel dealing with turf toe.
I think it's a boost for both Kincaid and Keon too, right? I mean, like
100%.
Keon's going to run whether he's good or not, we still have to see, but he's going to get every opportunity.
How is he not running 90% route? Yeah. I was
going to say 100, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be outrageous. And again, like the buzz on him has been awesome. I mean, every single day he's making plays in camp. You're not hearing any like doghouse. You're not hearing any like, they got to bring him along slowly. Like, I haven't heard any FUD on Keon Coleman since they put on the pads.
Exactly. Since they put on the pads at the beginning, it was typical like, oh, he's a rookie, he's got to learn the playbook, yada, yada. But since then, you're right. It's been a lot of rainbows and sunshine. Holy Richardson fall. This seems like a smack talk latest report here.
Yeah.
But I think
like
we need wide receiver. I was going to say Deontay or Brian Thomas.
I like Brian Thomas more than Deontay.
Pete, what do you think? Because Deontay's like floor, but Thomas is ceiling.
Let's do Deontay. Okay. I just feel like maybe we can get one of these another rookie to come back. I don't know. Can I see the wide receivers?
Yep.
Yeah, between BT, Keon, Ladd's been dropping. I don't know. I mean, yeah, the chances of Brian Thomas coming back to us are nil.
Ladd's situation has gotten better too, which is really funny.
I like taking Deontay Johnson on like my teams that are more behind at wide receiver
like
than
this
they usually are.
Yes, right. Because I think he's like PPR scam ×2 this season with Bryce Young. Like, I'm a Bryce Young apologist. I think he can get the ball into his receivers' hands, and Deontay Johnson is open a lot. And like, yeah, it might not be like super high ceiling stuff, but I think Deontay Johnson is a sneaky bet to, be top 10 in targets this season, just because he's going to be open all the time on an offense with Adam Thielen and Leggett, I think I am a little bit excited about, but I trust Bryce Young enough to get Deontay Johnson the ball. I mean, like, he's just like mini Big Ben a little bit. I just see Deontay getting
like polar opposite, mini Big Ben. That's so good.
As far as like checking down and whatnot, safety valve type stuff.
Yeah, you're right. He does love to check the ball down. That's for damn sure. At least last year. The Buffalo one I find interesting. The hot start with Kincaid. It's just top of mind because I'm finishing up the weekly winners and stuff like that. Buffalo, Arizona, at Miami, Jacksonville, at Baltimore, at Houston. Like
Whoa.
that sounds pretty fun for a quick start. Kincaid with missing other pieces in that offense. I don't know. I'm kind of like just lower on Buffalo in a vacuum. Like I think there's a lot of dark horse offenses that go behind that could outscore that team as a whole this year. Maybe that's not giving Josh Allen enough credit, but like just given the weaponry and that sort of thing, like I take Hurts over him. Yeah. Anyways, that was kind of like my bear case, bull case, all in one for the Kincaid pick.
Totally fair to be a little scared of the Bills. Like just kind of doing last year's Chiefs thing as far as offensively.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, we'll just do a little bit of patchwork offense and like Josh Allen go burr.
Guys, this has been an awesome run out of picks for us.
Yeah, the 3 quarterbacks going on the left side of the board and a tight end.
Yeah.
And Montgomery, who's a
good Hollywood, pick, like a banged up early guy on this team.
Just not fitting what we need. The sidekicks in our head are just like we're loving this. Advanced sidekicks.
Oh man,
the advanced sidekick has my rankings in it though, and that's not always a good thing because it just pounds the table over and over again for the same 5 dudes.
Yeah, I think we're in good shape with either of these picks. Obviously, JSN would have been the dream, but I think Ladd is good here for this team.
I agree. No quarterbacks, obviously, for us here. We were very set at running back, even though we are gonna. I mean, we got to win week 6. That's where all the money is, so we got to figure that out. But no, Ladd's situation has only gotten better. I mean, I think he's back on the practice field from that injury, but DJ Chark hurt his hip, so that's one less route runner on the field. I believe Justin Herbert is returning to practice very soon as well. Back. So now it's like can Ladd. Now I have a little bit of a hot take that I think, and maybe it's just you guys can tell me if this is hot, that I think Joshua Palmer out earns Ladd in targets this season, but the rookie ceiling for Ladd I still think is really strong playing with Justin Herbert. And as far as just like our team goes here, we're building a team. I think he fits his team because he gives us another out at a stack as well. Like that's really important for us because we have no early quarterbacks fit this team right now.
And for me, I have a similar hot take for Nez. My hot take is that, and this is all, let's just continue to FUD the pick we just made. My hot take is Jalen Polk outscores Ladd McConkey this year. But I do agree. I do think my objection with Ladd is he was for a long time going ahead of all of these guys in this tier. Yes. And I'm sorry, like I was never clicking him over Brian Thomas. I wasn't doing it over Keon Coleman. I wasn't doing it over JSN. Like no way. But now this is where he should go. Like the end of this tier next to Jameson Williams at this price. Like I'm in.
Yeah, this is what I was waiting for. I've been running pretty hot as far as like guys I've been waiting to take, and I'm glad that like we've got this Ladd discount now because now I'm ready. Like this is cool. I like this. Get it in a BBM too in a highly valuable tournament for me. I like this. Okay, we are
wide receivers are wiped.
Yeah, it's Samuel, Doubs, Palmer. It would be a reach, but like I would not hate a Charger double stack. But like we got other better picks on the board.
It's a running back
and see if it comes back. Yeah, I like Mostert.
Yeah, I've been slamming Mostert or Warren.
You guys aren't in on the Warren injury downplay. Like this is a generational discount. He's only getting
I've been getting it generationally cheaper than this.
It falls way further.
He's not coming back. So
okay, I don't care. I want Mostert. I vote Mostert.
Mostert's good. I think you take Mostert ahead of Warren right now because you can get 100 shares of Warren.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I got him today with my CD Lamb team from the 101 an hour before this.
Maybe I'm overestimating the field right now.
I mean, Mostert is such a good pick here.
But he's another week 6 bye.
Oh, is he? Well, we should have talked about that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. John slammed my Warren pick into the ground, so I let him have Mostert. We'll figure it out.
Let's do it.
Hang on, are all 3 of our running backs week 6 bye right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's not ideal.
No, but you know.
You guys ever heard of unique combos in the
I don't care.
finals?
I don't care. Give me Mostert. All right.
Give me Mostert.
I would have swung back to Warren had I known the buy thing. In a vacuum, I like Mostert, but yeah.
Yeah, no, Mostert is a great pick though. I mean, let's be real. Like, what do you think drafters are like? What is being priced into Mostert being at pick 90, coming off an 18 touchdown season? Is it Achane emergence?
More than that, 21.
Yeah, you're right. Is it Achane emergence? Is it injury risk for Mostert? Like, what do you think is like the driving factor for Mostert going at pick 90?
Probably age and Achane explosiveness as like a combo.
I don't even think it's Achane stuff, right? Because it's like we just saw Achane be as explosive as can be, and Mostert had 21 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is. I think it's all injury related and age. I think it's just like one of these days Mostert's going to get hurt. And I also, another factor, I wonder if there is some of they added Jalen Wright. Like if this backfield went the way of the Bengals or the Titans and there wasn't a third intriguing back on the roster, I wonder if people would be willing to push Mostert like up into that Rachaad White, Joe Mixon range.
Yeah, that's a great point. This is going to play out nicely for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is all right.
Joshua Palmer it up.
Yeah, you guys are you down with that, Pete?
Yeah.
Cool. We'll figure out running back.
I like the double. I mean, Dobbs opposite Jefferson to get like some week 17 Minnesota stuff. Green Bay is kind of interesting, but yeah. I don't mind Palmer once we've made that bet.
It's just it's like one of the cheapest like double stacks you can get. I think. I mean, off the top of my head, tied to Justin Herbert is very fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's interesting that people are like worried about the coaching there. Like maybe I'm on an island here, but I think Harbaugh's a pretty damn good coach, and
he's the favorite for coach of the year.
Like, yeah, but we know who the real. Well, maybe he's the favorite. We know the best bet available for that. Though this isn't that show, but but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm still definitely on like the bear side of the Chargers as far as that. I mean, like, I don't know, that coaching stuff is tough, right? Like Sean Payton was put on an absolute pedestal and then made some like really bizarre decisions too, as far as like usage and stuff. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to crown him, as an NFL coach yet. Like, I kind of want to see how this plays out. And I want to see, like, I think isn't part of the fear that they get down in games and they're still stubbornly running the ball a ton because that's like all they know how to do. Like that, like, are they going to actually let Justin Herbert cook a little bit?
I trust them to like read the room. I read the scoreboard for sure. I mean, he was a great coach in San Francisco, like a great coach.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're like, and I think what's also interesting is people looking at the Greg Roman history, but like, look at who he had. He's never, ever had a passer like Justin Herbert in his coaching. Like, it's always been like,
I mean, he had Lamar Jackson, but
exactly. And now he has Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
I mean, did you not see the difference there?
Yeah, there's a lot of
hello.
Okay, we're good passing.
Is this Tajay Spears or Jacoby Myers? You guys tell me. I can keep scrolling, but I'm gonna throw these guys in the queue.
I think there's a big tier gap after Spears for me with some of these running backs. I guess Dowdle could be up there if you wanted, but I like Spears.
John?
I like Jacoby, but I'm good with Spears.
I think this is gonna be Spears. I really need some points in week 6. It's so important. It's so important to my anxious little brain.
One other kind of lean for going running back there is just, obviously we don't have a quarterback yet. We do have some stacks set up, but like if we get sniped on 1 or even 2, which we know can happen these days, it will be nice to have a couple extra wide receiver spots to play with to build out
True.
another
Good
stack.
shout. Yeah, it's something I've been noticing in my slow drafts where I go piss boy early and then I look at them all. Like I go back to the team and I look at them all and I'm like, holy shit, every quarterback associated with this team goes from like QB1 through QB17. Now what do? I guess it's a 9 wide receiver build despite spending all the early capital. That's probably not a good plan.
I think at this point, man, like I'll say it. No one's everyone's like pro Rico right now. I think Rico now is like very risky at this price. Like the bet was different when he was like pick 140, pick 130.
Mhm.
This is getting, and just because I can see this going to like a Chase Brown range, we just don't know that this guy is going to beat out Zeke Elliott for a meaningful role. Like sure, Zeke sucks, but like I feel like this conversation is missing the forest for the trees, in that like maybe the Cowboys offense is just simply not a juggernaut this season. Is that possible? And I mean
there's
the backfield.
They're probably going to play fast and throw a shit ton. I don't know. The counter to that is the last time McCarthy had Zeke in his backfield was only a year and a half ago, and he averaged 18.3 touches per game. So like that's the kickback on why not to take Rico there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. As far as
So
like
both Judy and Gabe are both week 17 correlations if we want to do a wide receiver pick here.
and
I'd
I would
vote
prefer
love this
Gabe.
running back.
Oh, I'd vote Judy so it gives us a stack out.
Okay. I just think Gabe is a better player than Judy, and a better offense, and but we'll do the stack. We'll do the week 17 thing and another stack out there. I've been taking Benson a lot more, I will say. I think this is the price could not be more right for Trey Benson. I think the fact that Connor misses games like every season is gives Benson a chance to like be showcased and be like, oh yeah, I don't think we can take this guy off the field, but it is tough because I don't think Connor's bad. But I think Trey Benson showed some good burst out on the field. It was nice being able to see him run a little bit, and just like to use John Boy Beats terminology, who, like, if you guys are not subscribed to his newsletter, Show Me the Data, that it looks at ADP and who's falling and who's rising. Like, I think Benson has hit his floor for ADP. I do not think he's going to fall any further. If he does, I'm going to keep buying. But I've not taken a lot of Benson this summer, and now I've really started to ramp that up just because I love the offense. I think the Cardinals are a very good offense this season, or will be a very good offense. And I like what I saw out of Trey Benson. I think he's going to be a pretty damn good player.
Yeah, I mean, to your point there, Nez, like James Conner, let's exclude his rookie year because he only got 32 touches, but even that year, he was only available for 14 games, 13 games, 10 games, 13 games, 15 games, 13, 13.
Every year. Like, it's just like, it's just guaranteed.
And I think I completely agree. I think Benson is a really nice price right now. I was one of the ones who was taking him when he was more expensive. And I think looking back was obviously out ahead of our skis. Like, I'm not going to ever say like Trey Benson's like the most mispriced guy on the board right now. I just think he's now in the value where he should go, like right next to Charbonnet, where we were kind of selling ourselves either on two things. One, that there'd be standalone value. Then that kind of got dismissed pretty quickly. And then all you're really hanging your hat on is like James Conner being injury prone, which is true. But it's like a lot of these bets are just kind of contingent upside bets. So now that he's in this range, I think he's an awesome pick. And I was probably wrong to be on him around pick 100 or wherever he was before.
I think this is an easy
Herbert.
one.
Yeah.
This is
we got to lock that up.
Unless you guys want to push it so we can get that sweet Zeke pick.
I don't think this team needs Zeke.
Aren't we trying to build super teams? Let's get Zeke on this team.
Zeke and super team. Have those two words ever been used in the same sense?
I think John and I talked about this yesterday. Like, I think we used to think about that too hard, like just pushing our stacks to the absolute limit, and for what? To tack on a Zeke level player in round 12 instead of like securing the double stack that like this team desperately needs. I submitted my True Serum video already, but I wish I could redo it and just say that I reach for stacks and I don't care about your super team, because it would have been a better video. But I was on vacation and almost forgot about it and scrambling. So
I'll give you
I almost
a little...
forgot about it too. I did it in the car after playing golf at like 7:00 on Friday. I was like, oh shit, I got to record this thing.
I will say this because I have a couple of video. I mean, I just posted one today. Best Ball Bros is being wrapped up. That's going to be out soon. And so I have not started fully compiling that yet. So if you want to do a recut, feel free and send it in the next day or two, and you'll see.
Okay, good to know. I didn't know
there you
Sal
go.
was gonna like hunt me down if I did that. So
No, Sal's just helping me out because I really wanted to make that video, but I just did not have the bandwidth to take on the organizational side. But yeah, you got a little bit more time if you'd like.
All right, well, those do like 10 times these. So if you heard me say that already, no, you didn't.
I'm not redoing that shit. I'm going off the cuff. I'm rolling with my original takes. I'm take locked on my first bid. The one thing with the Benson, Connor, whatever is like, so I was just looking, I'm 4% Connor right now and 9% Benson. So not overly bullish on either, but in weekly winners, I have a pretty good Connor stance because I really like the front end of the Arizona schedule, like at Buffalo, Rams, Detroit, Washington, San Francisco, Green Bay. Like if you're going to ape into some weeks when Connor's healthy at the front end there, man, I could see him being like a top 12 pick in our BRs for like that Rams matchup, for that Detroit matchup, blah, 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 right?
Especially if their defense isn't good, which people have alluded to. I'm not the one to project defenses. I feel like that's just too random of a job to do, but man, oh man, that would be great.
If you get Marvin Harrison coming out of the gate and he gets like 6 targets in week 1 and he goes like 4 for 35 or 38 or something like this against Buffalo, and then you just go like, well, what are we going to attack the next 2 weeks? And you just go for those running back ones. I could see his ADP getting like pushed in the early BR stuff.
A slow start for Marvin Harrison. He's probably what, like a 5th or 6th round pick week 2?
Yeah.
Oh baby. I'm already thinking about the dip that hasn't even been materialized yet.
I was kind of bummed with those picks, like Leggett to double with Deontay at that price, and then Dobbins to just rip it in on the Chargers.
Don't need. I mean, Watson is there, but I don't think we need it. I do like Jaleel. We can look at some wide receivers and running backs here. Any other picks do you guys like that you see here?
I like Ray Davis a lot and just kind of double down on the Bills, but like,
Jaleel or Davis.
Let's do Ray Davis.
Cool. Yeah, I like Jaleel a lot. I definitely kind of still in my mind pigeonhole him more on my like 0 RB teams when I'm like, give me some of that floor, the random spike week.
I still got week 6 on the brain where I'm like, I need those. I need that projectable volume for that.
Yeah.
Ray Davis will have some standalone value too, I think.
Because I just think with Kyron and Pacheco, we can just take the biggest swings possible. Spears, very big swing. Ray Davis, very big swing.
Yeah, I think too. It seems like from what I've read, the key for Ray Davis being the RB2 is just like not fumbling. If he can not fumble, this is the goal line back, is he not? Like James Cook James Cook and like half of Ty Johnson and like Latavius Murray last year, and they still would not give James Cook the ball at the goal line. So like Ray Davis has to be the odds-on favorite to be the goal line back this year. And there's obvious the needless to say contingent upside. I think Ray Davis is just such a stylistically different runner than James Cook. It's really hard to not like vision how they pair really well together. Where like if it's between the tackles time, like Ray Davis, do your thing because he's just a bowling ball.
Yep. And they've openly talked about the James Cook fumbling issues in the preseason already, like just from camp side of things. Like he lost 4 of them last year. He probably fumbled more than that, but he lost 4 of them last year. So if ball security is an issue, absolutely. Guys, do us a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, that notification, all that fun stuff. We got a really fun show coming your way, 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. BadgeBros Brawl is dropping. It's going to get us a little ready for the BR streets. That's your tease. $10 price point. All right, Naz, we're on the clock.
Okay. I threw Geno Smith in here because I mean,
Yeah.
we could probably push it, but like, why should we?
Did Watson go
Yeah.
already?
He did.
Yeah. Let's lock up Geno. I think that's smart.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I would feel good about that.
Are we done at quarterback in your guys' mind on this roster?
Probably not.
Not for sure.
Are we done at running back in your guys' mind on this roster?
Probably.
Yeah, I feel good enough. If we get, because you know what's going to happen is Tyjae Spears is going to score enough for the RB1 and 2 that week, and we don't even have to worry, man. Don't even trip. It's going to be fine. Tyjae Spears has us covered with the 35 ball.
Yeah.
That easy.
Yeah, I think I'd be open to both 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends on this roster, right?
I would say
Yeah, I don't
2
think
tight ends.
if we
tight
were
ends
able
with
to get
DK?
Noah Fant, I was like, we could shut it down, but then he snap goes right after us.
Mhm.
What's even his? Was that ahead of ADP? No, it was at ADP. All right, I won't be mad.
I've noticed myself structurally recently that I do like a lot of this kind of style build where I'm like pretty balanced throughout, and then I have like this like fake thought in my mind that I have a luxury pick, and I'm kind of like concerned about that because I'm like I probably should have spent that somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like this,
Yeah.
the way I've been setting up rosters. Anyways.
Yeah. What's our build right now?
Yeah, right now we're at a 2-5-6-1. We've got Geno Smith and Justin Herbert. Our wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf, Deontay Johnson, Lad McConkey, Josh Palmer, and Jerry Jeudy. And then at running back, it's Kyron Williams, Isaiah Pacheco, Raheem Mostert, Tyjae Spears, Ray Davis. And then we have Dalton Kincaid as our lone tight end right now.
Pretty solid team, pretty balanced team. Ooh,
Yeah,
Jordan Whittington in the 15th.
Yeah, welcome to August BBM lobbies.
So New England and Chicago are week 17 bringbacks. Obviously, always plenty of stuff to do with New England. I do love this fall right now, and by fall because I'm just used to him going even higher. McMillan. If we do want to do like a third quarterback with Bryce and like set up some kind of bring back there.
I can make that work.
When you guys look at this roster for a third quarterback, who's the first name that comes to mind to you guys?
Honestly, it was Darnold for me, and I just remembered about Bryce.
Mine was Darnold, like through and through. Aren't we worried about the clip, boys? Should we just do it? Producer?
This is the year, man. I mean,
dude, every day we get tagged and stuff about like McMillan just got a 50-yard touchdown pass. Like it's like what? Let's get a.
The problem is you guys picked too good of a player. You know, before like Visca had some signs of maybe being like a fake wide receiver. Like maybe we should have looked at the routes he was running in college. Sky Moore went to a D3 school. Like, you know, you were having some
go
fun.
back in your time machine and check the pre-season sentiment on guys like Visca and Sky. I mean,
I know
we're all in on these guys.
Not so much Visca.
We're all looking for the guy. A little more controversial, but everyone was in on Sky that year,
and that was such a mistake. Clearly. At least I atoned last season. I did not do that again last year. That was probably one of the funniest picks on the board last year. Like he's wearing number 22. Let's do some Ian Hartitz analysis here. Wide receiver wearing 22. Like just can't have it.
Has there ever been a good Colorado wide receiver? I'm trying to
Paul Richardson had a minute.
Oh yeah, Paul Richardson.
Look at you guys. I'm not the trivia guy, so I could not tell you any Colorado wide receivers that have done anything.
Man, not in recent.
Yeah, Paul Richardson. That was a good shout there. That was a good pull, Pete, because I can't think of one.
I just remember him. I mean, obviously, I remember he was on CEU, but I also remember he was on my team that finished top 20 on Redacted in the Millie Maker because I had that. It was that Texans Seahawks shootout game, and remember when that one went nuts? It was Nuke and Lamar Miller and Watson on the one side, and then it was like Lockett, Doug Baldwin, and Paul Richardson were the receivers, and I think everyone was playing like Doug Baldwin, and no one was playing Richardson, and I like double stacked him with Russ. and that was one of the most fun. Like that game was nutty.
Sam Darnold.
Darnold
I
over,
like Sam
over
Yeah.
Bryce. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do Darnold. I also think if we have the spot to get like Naylor, I do think is one of the best scroll the F down clicks right now too. But I know we need tight ends.
So I get like the Naylor thing for me. I get like just could not find his way on the field for 2 years. Was KJ Osborne like that good that he just like couldn't possibly get on the field? There's good buzz, and I have taken Jalen Naylor, and he does set up, but like I would almost do like Bo Melton than Jalen Naylor here. But maybe that's just like that's like the same bear case, right? How's Bo Melton get on the field? So
I think like if you just had Jefferson, it's a little easier to sell me on like, okay, let's take that. But like once we select Darnold, like I want this entire offense to cook. And then it's like, all right, Hawk's not around, Addison, slow start, potential suspension. Like,
you're right.
Let's see if we can get the top 2 target guys and see what happens.
Yeah, we made the bet. This is let's just like double down on the uniqueness.
The counter, I guess, is like we're pretty fringy on like 3rd tight end, 8th wide receiver, right? As far as what this team needs.
I'm pretty firmly 2 tight ends, but it depends on who the tight end 2 is, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking like before, I mean, he went early too, like Hunter Henry. I was like, oh man, if we get a discount on Henry as a bring back to the Chargers stuff, that would have been nice.
Yeah, that would have been that would have fit really well. You guys are you guys taking any Chargers tight ends?
I haven't in a while. I took Disley like way back in the day.
Is he would he be your bet today? Like I'm not saying we do it here, but if you were to do like you like him over Hurst?
I think so.
Like, Parham's just a meme, but
yeah. What have you been taking any?
I did some Hurst in the past. But I don't with Herbert, but I think I would maybe do Disley now. It's just it's scary.
I'd rather just do like Rice or Chark in the last round and like take an uncorrelated tight end. Usually, like Disley's interesting because they love him as a blocker and he's the best blocker of the bunch and he'll stay on the field the most. Whether that translates to anything, who knows?
Mm-hmm. I just can't believe Hurst is playing football again. I think that alone is just kind of like baffling my mind.
Thank you to our guy Emo Cowboy gifting one out there. Send some love to him, whoever was the recipient of that one.
So I'm a Jonnu Slappy.
I like it with our little Miami,
Mostert,
Cleveland.
I take Juwan over him, but I'm good with either.
He's John. Learn your bye weeks, dude. Please, I'm begging you.
The pro. We don't have the same week 12 tight end bye week. The con, we do add another week 6 bye. Our team in week 6. I like Johnny there too because we can shut it down. I think at tight end with Kincaid and Jonnu.
Yeah, I feel very good about that room. And
so how do you guys? Yeah, sorry, I was if we shut it down, how do you guys spend this last pick? I'm curious.
I like wide receiver, right? Like we were thin at the top at wide receiver. I think we have lots of options for correlation. I mean, we haven't gotten a New England piece yet. Which I think is something we could do as well because we have that big Chargers double stack. And I mentioned I like Naylor too. So I think this team probably needs wide receiver the most.
I agree. Are you falling victim for Tim Patrick at all?
I have so I'm going through the stages of grief. Right now I'm at the stage where I'm already committed to not touching Troy Franklin at all. I haven't gotten to the stage where I actually click Tim Patrick.
What stage is that? Is that acceptance or moving on? I don't know.
That's a stage when I have a Joe Burrow double stack and I haven't selected a Bronco and I start weeping in the 18th round and admit that Tim Patrick makes sense for a team. I just haven't gotten there yet.
Got a Xavier Gibson sighting. Okay.
Yeah. Gardner Minshew's getting drafted now. I like that Khalif Raymond locked in as WR3 plus contingent upside for this slot. I've been a Khalif slappy.
All right, there goes Ray. Okay, I've got some options for us here in the queue.
I'd take Juwan Johnson here. but
No, you want
Come on,
Jalen.
John. Are
You
you
guys are-
I think this
serious?
team needs wide receiver.
all right. I vote Baker or Naylor for the stack or run back. You guys pick.
Baker seems buried based on the news today.
I hated
Okay.
that report.
That was sad.
Let's do Naylor.
Let's get some Naylor. This is the this team is fun. You get the Sam Darnold double.
This is the Nuni
double.
homage, is what it is.
The
Yeah,
only
we
thing that would have been better is if we could have picked off JSN or Fant and gotten that the Geno doubles.
Yeah, JSN instead of Ladd on this team, but then you still get the Herbert stack, and then we get
Somebody did throw out Tucker Kraft. That would have been I
like
would
that
have
one.
I would have paused if
Tucker
I
as
had,
the third
if
tight
I
end.
put him in there. Yeah,
let
I
me
was
let me
pretty
look at the wide receivers again. Like scroll down, not on the main board on our team. Because like I always look at, so we had the 4, and then we come back. I guess we get Palmer,
we needed
Judy.
wide receivers.
I think we needed wide receiver, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
I
we
mean,
have,
when
like,
Deontay
JJ
Johnson's your third, it does feel
yeah, we tend to do this to ourselves, but I like the wide receivers that we have, though. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think you just have to be smart and cognizant about the draft capital and the profiles of guys that you're drafting. I think it's okay to tell yourself, like, I'm just looking to help me advance. I think it's okay to say that. I know that, there's a lot of week 1 brain talk, but I think it makes sense especially if we start off the way that we did.
This team
Well, the
needed
whole
KJ Osborne with the last one for the double stack and run back correlation, the super combo of New England and Vikings.
Well, let me go back to the board too, because I want, like, this is the stuff that keeps me awake at night when I'm thinking about like drafting, prioritizing the wide receivers above all. But I think we handled this right. So like you look where we took Pacheco,
I'm gonna pull up
right?
the big board.
Yeah. You look where we took Pacheco. The next available receiver I think we were eyeing was Pickens, right? Was he the next guy?
Yeah.
Pickens, Kirk, like, because there's 2 that's slappy behavior to take Worthy there. So it would have been Pickens.
So let's say Pickens. So now go look at where we took Palmer and let's see what running back we would have taken there. Like these are the kind of 2v2s I like to look at.
Javonte, Singletary, or Moss. And like I liked Spears just as much as those guys.
Right, but let's be generous. Let's say Javonte. So
okay.
You're looking at a 2v2 of like Pickens, Javonte versus Pacheco, Palmer. And I do think it's really close there, but when you're building structurally, it feels like so gross, like it's always going to be tilted to the other way. And I think there sometimes are wide receivers in the 4th that tilt it, but like Pickens starts kind of a new tier, I feel like, after, the Higgins and Zay are off the board there.
That's
it feels bad taking him there too. Sorry, John. I was just gonna say, because he's falling. Like Pickens is like on the road to like ADP 55.
Yeah, that I like encapsulating the Pacheco fall when he's routinely going like 2nd and 3rd round now. Yeah. So the structural difference I would deviate is not taking Kincaid. I'd pass on Kincaid and I would take wide receiver there. I flirted Rome, which is like a little bit of a reach, but like if you wanted to take Ridley or something there, I'd be fine with it. And then you can 2v2 the Palmer pick into a running back or Palmer pick into tight end or Deontay Johnson into Kittle.
I was going to say, I think the 2v2 of Kincaid and Johnson versus Rome and Kittle, that might, I might do the latter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny because my framework, it's like elite tight end is such a big part of my drafts that like to me, the deviation is taking Pacheco on a Kyron team. So I like looking at there, but obviously I do think, if we then are forced into a 3 tight end build, but you probably also don't need to tack on the last wide receiver either.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good point. I like this team a lot. This isn't what I normally do in these drafts, so I like when I get to control things and have you guys steer me away from my takes that I'm so married to. Yeah, get one less Bijan team. Just one quick recap here: 3-5-8-2 for us in BBM. Justin Herbert, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold at QB. Our running back room is Kyron Williams, Isaiah Pacheco, Raheem Mostert, Tyjae Spears, and Ray Davis. Aren't you worried about week 6? Wide receivers are JJ, DK, Deontay Johnson, Ladd McConkey, Josh Palmer, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen McMillan, and Jalen Naylor. Tight ends, Dalton Kincaid, Jonnu Smith. I like the way that this team looks. I like the cut of this team's jib.
Yeah, I like it too.
I like it.
I'm not worried about week 6.
Who is? I mean, half the team is on fucking bye, but who cares? I can't wait to
what is
show
it?
you
The
guys.
Spears and Ray Davis show in week 6.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hope we remember in week 7, to look back on this team and see what this team scored. Higher, lower.
Will you put it in the notes? Will you put or did you put week 6?
I will. I will.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. So higher, lower, 90 fantasy points for this team in week 6.
It doesn't matter. We're gonna score 155 the first 5 weeks.
For the bit.
Higher. Who we got? Okay, hold on.
Our wide receivers are fine, right? Week 6. It's just the running backs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Week 6, JJ's on bye too, though. So you got to factor that in. So we're gonna need a lot out of. We're gonna need DK Metcalf at home versus San Francisco on Thursday Night Football.
Okay. Thursday Night Football,
dude. He's a show pony versus the Niners on Thursday night. That's DK 123-3 night. There we go.
Pony.
He's a show pony.
So.
His blue hair, baby. Woo.
All right. We'll check back in.
All right. Let's we're gonna shut this down here. Let the people know anything you guys got coming up on the channel here. And we need to huddle soon. I know we keep mentioning this. I think probably we have this normal schedule right up even the week 1, because then we'll be traveling. And then the pre-week 2 show, I think we'll be snapping over to Friday.
Sounds good. I might be traveling the Wednesday, so maybe it's a 2-man gig on that one, but we can talk about that at a different time. Yeah, this is probably going to be Wednesdays through till week 2, and then Fridays, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's what you just laid out for us.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking out loud. I'm not that quick. I'm not that smart, boys.
But yeah, tomorrow, did we kind of tease the release, John, a little bit of the Triple B?
Yeah, BadgeBros Brawl going to be a 2:05, 2:10 p.m. Eastern, something like that. So we're going to go live with that one. We're going to talk through the structure, lay the groundwork out for everybody, and then we'll just hop in and just rip drafts and have a fun day with it. Get ready. Clocks are going to be a little bit quicker. Drafts are going to be a little bit faster than anything else you're accustomed to on the platform there, and $10 price point. The rest of it we will save for tomorrow.
Awesome. For me, over on the Deposit Kingdom, like I said, got a few fun things. Have a draft out with Eric Beimfor. We threw ADP out the window, built a pretty fun team over there. And then Best Ball Bros video. I'm still debating. I haven't seen the final cut yet. It'll either be out later this week, or I might do like a debut, like maybe Monday after Best Ball Breakfast or something. And
that one deserves a debut. That one deserves I'll just say this, like we stepped up the game even a little bit this year. There's some fun additions. I felt like I had to step it up. So I think you guys are gonna love that. So yeah, I'll keep you posted on that. And then yeah, the Truth Serum stuff will be out as well. So lots of stuff over on the Deposit Kingdom. I would appreciate you guys subscribing over there. Awesome. Love it. Appreciate everyone who joined up for members today and all that fun stuff. And yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys next time on Off and On the Clock. Peace.